This is part 2 of our chapter 2, part 2 of 3. And I was about to do the trial balance with you. And what I did was I created some T accounts in between videos. So let's walk through the cash. Trial balance here. So you can see there's debits. That's a DR. I'm writing with my mouse, and I'm left-handed, and I'm right-handed with a mouse, which is kind of crazy. And that's credit. So that's the debit side, the left side, and that's the credit side. Now, and this is also the debit side and also the credit side, okay? All right, so what you do is you go through every one of these journal entries, and wherever there's a cash, you write it down on the T account. Well, these are debits, 3,000 and 5,400. So 3,000 and 5,400. Then the next two are credits, 800 and 5,000. So they go on the right side, 800 and 5,000. And then we got cash, which is 6,000, and that goes there. And then we have another cash, which is a credit, 2,500. And then finally we have the last cash item, which is 2,000. Now, I definitely want to do cash with you because that's probably the one account that's always going to have the most transactions. And this is the same in this case. Now, what I do is I'll add up the left side and then I'll subtract out the right side. The left side is the debit, and that's the normal balance. Guys, that doesn't even look like normal, but that's what it says. It says normal. I don't even want to look at it anymore. That's awful. Anyway, so that's the normal balance. So the left should be higher because the debit is the normal balance. So what I did was I got 3,000 plus 5,400, which is 8,400. And then I added 6,000 to it, which is 10,400. And then I subtracted these. And it's 4,100. I'm going to let you develop your own system on calculating the balance of a T account. Some people will do this. I'm erasing. What they'll do, I'll just show you one way. They'll add up the left side. So again, that's 14,400, which, by the way, that's going to sound like a really crazy glitch, but I just paused the video and then I added up these three numbers on the debit side. I got 14,400. Added up these four numbers on the credit side, I got 10,300, and the difference is 4,100, and that goes there. Account receivable, there's only one. And you just go through. Oh, by the way, if you print these, then you got this column here, and that is the where you would post this journal entry in the general ledger, and you would put like general page 1, JL1 or whatever. But we don't have those. We're doing T accounts, so you can just put a check mark next to them, and that way you know that you've done these. So now you're just looking for lines that you haven't done anything, and also it helps find the accounts receivable really quickly. So we got 600, and I'll go ahead and write it there. And it's done, and then it goes there. Let's do service fees earned, which we haven't done a credit yet. So service fees earned, here's one. 5,400, and we write it down there. Do one at a time, and then really I like to write it down and then come back and check it off. And then that's service fees earned. Service fees earned 600, and we got it written down there. We'll come back up here and check it off. Don't forget it. If you don't, you might do it twice. And then we got another service fees earned 6,000 right there. Add them up and you get 12,000. And don't forget, it's a credit balance, right? The normal balance for a revenue Service fees earned is a revenue account, and that's a credit balance. And it is right here. You'll go through and do each one of these in the same way. Total them up, you get 15,001, and it matches 15,001, so you're in good shape. Okay? Now you don't have to write all this on there, obviously. So, and you don't have to change these colors. I just did that for demonstration purposes. All right, so now that your trial balance is in balance, that means all the total of all your debits equal the total of all your credits, you know you're in good shape. So you can proceed to create your financial statements. Income statement is first, then the statement of retained earnings, finally the balance sheet. There's a fourth one called the statement of cash flow or the cash flow statement. We will not be covering that. That is also required, but we won't do that in this course. All right, so we just did fees earned right here. We just calculated it. There it is. Or you could look there. So fees earned is 12,000. And also, I think I shared this already, but this is your revenue or your income statement right there. And that right there is your balance sheet. BS stands for balance sheet, nothing else in this course. And then income statement. It's pretty cool when you see that. All right, so we got revenue, now we got expenses. We got 1, 2, 3, 800, 2,500, and 5,000. Y'all see that? Expenses. And they didn't do them in the same order, but they're there. 800, 2,500, and 5,000. Total them up. Put a line there. That's like a punctuation mark in accounting. It says, okay, we're done with this column. Go ahead and add them up. 2,500 plus 800 plus 5,000 is 8,300. Put a line there. We're done with that column. And we know that revenue minus expenses gives you net income, or if there's a loss, net loss. And that's where we get the 3,700 from. This 3,700, whoops, let me draw that better. I want to go this way. 3,700 goes right here. Having a hard time with that mouse, I'm telling you. All right. Goes right there. Then there was no company, and this company, Speedy Computer, did not exist before March 1st. So March 1st is 0 retained earnings plus net income, less dividends. You now have a $1,700 retained earnings. Now, retained earnings, you can say is like a savings account. Net income goes in and makes it go up, so it's a positive. If there's a net loss, that would be like a negative or a minus. With withdrawal, owners take money out, that's like a negative, and then owners invest. Remember, and then net income is a combination of expense and income. Balance sheet, you'll remember this formula. Equals liabilities plus equity. So assets are 4,800, just the total of these three items. And then liability plus common stock plus retained earnings equals 4,800. So the total of liability and equity, the total of liability and equity 4,800 equals assets 4,800. And that's how that works. So I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. You can, this is an additional practice problem. As you practice, it'll be good for you to practice doing additional problems similar to the one we worked in this video. As always, if you have any questions, please email me.